Hollywood. Sunset Generation, they got all that stuff. Hear that meditation on that FM station?
All right, we're back.
Yep.
You got to get closer.
I'm going to have to get closer.
We're fucking one mic in it because I forgot the attachment because I was trying to watch the Broncos game, but it ended up that one was streaming, so I didn't even have to use it, so it's just not here for no reason.
That makes it even worse.
Yeah.
Oh, you bastard.
CBS never plays the Broncos in Cincinnati, but apparently they just did.
And they did.
Here's Hollywood.
Hollywood.
As Dr. John just hopefully said, as long as we didn't get a copyright strike.
Hopefully.
Talking about Hollywood and Los Angeles.
Yeah.
I think it's important to set the stage for this weird ass fucking place.
I think so.
So, without further ado,
Let's set a stage.
let's get into it.
Yeah.
Los Angeles
Yeah.
in Southern California.
Oh, that one. Good.
Was originally claimed from indigenous people by Juan Rodriguez Cabrillo
Okay.
in 1542.
That tracks.
It was a basically nothing place from then through the Mexican rule. They set up...
Well, we say that. I'm sure it was lots of people's homes. And...
No, like really wasn't that big. It was like an outpost.
All right.
It was a very, very small place.
All right.
Not a lot happened there.
Yet.
San Francisco had shit going on because it had like ports and everything, and that was the
Yeah.
city. San Francisco mattered significantly more than Los Angeles through the 1800s.
Okay.
And also, like, fun fact, state of California was founded in San Francisco in a square in Chinatown that still exists, where you can just watch people play mahjong all day long now.
Okay.
But that's where California was founded, in that exact location. Yeah, San Francisco was supposed to be the head of California.
Okay. I don't know much about the history of California or Los Angeles, so
I do.
This will be informative.
I know a ton about it.
Well, good. Let's go into that.
So in the late 1800s, the Southern Pacific Rail Line did what it did,
Right.
which was make places accessible. There was a line that went from New Orleans to not San Francisco, to Los Angeles,
Okay.
which kind of opened it up to being more of a place.
Sure.
By 1900, there was over 100,000 people there,
Okay.
but it was not a movie town yet.
No.
They had orange groves,
Okay.
and Long Beach had a port by then,
Okay.
but it was not a movie town yet.
What does the water thing have
Yeah.
to do with Los Angeles?
William
'Cause I've seen
Mulholland.
Chinatown.
Yes, William Mulholland, who's a thinly veiled character that ends up dead in Chinatown,
Okay.
as Mulvaney, that guy.
Okay.
It's the same guy.
All right.
Kind of. He's also Noah Cross. But anyway, in 1913, they completed the Los Angeles Aqueduct,
Okay.
which basically stole water from the valley and the center of California and moved it just entirely into LA. And to this day, if you drive...
Drank it up.
Yeah, if you drive down the 5 or up the 5,
Yeah.
through like Fresno and Bakersfield and all that shit, going between San Francisco and Los Angeles, there's still signs everywhere. Farmers being like, "Hey, we grow your food. We need this. You don't need another pool. You live by the ocean."
Man, that's a fair argument. Dude. That's a fair fucking argument.
Yeah, I just always like the "Hey, you guys live by the ocean" argument.
So they just stole water.
You're right.
Okay.
So essentially, Los Angeles becomes a movie town for like one reason.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Unions.
No.
No.
Before that, even.
Okay.
It became a movie town because a guy named Albert E. Smith, who later ended up owning the Chateau Marmont,
Okay.
and
we'll get
J.
into.
Stewart Blackton
Okay.
founded a company called Vitagraph in Brooklyn.
Vitagraph.
Yes. In Brooklyn in 1897, where they were making like 5-minute long reels of trains moving.
Right.
And they essentially were stealing Thomas Edison's invention of how to
Okay.
film.
Okay.
And he had a copyright on that, and they were not paying him. So they figured, which worked, that they could move out to Los Angeles, where it was over 300 days of sun a year, so they could film outside, which was important because there was no good lighting. You had to film everything outside, including nighttime.
Okay.
So the sun lit everything, and they were far enough away from Edison and his, like, lawsuits.
Patent laws.
Yeah. No, there were still patent laws because it was still the same country.
Yeah.
But they could make...
They were just farther away.
They were farther away, and they could, like, by the time word got back that they were stealing it, they
could
dissolved the company and made a new company.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is great. It's just clever. Fuck you, Edison.
Yeah. I mean, Edison's kind of a dick.
Edison's.
So whatever. You know.
A bad man.
So essentially, between 1905 and like 1911,
Okay.
the growth in what became movies is staggering. It went from, again, like the 5-minute Nickelodeon shows of, hey, look at people leaving station,
Right.
to like, here's Salome,
Okay.
which is a full-on production.
Right.
You know, and people like C.B. DeMille or D.W. Griffith, who made Birth of a Nation, which I know is questionable, but it's like a 3-hour movie that someone made in 1912, and that's crazy.
Right.
Which is why everyone's like, I know, but it's important.
Yeah.
So the industry, like any other industry that has rapid expansion, draws people to where it is rapidly expanding.
Yeah. They got
So
water. They got railroads. They got
movies
they
now.
got movies now.
And by like 1916,
Okay.
there's certified movie stars and people like Mary Pickford and Douglas Fairbanks and Buster Keaton, and it's all silent still.
Okay.
But all of these people are making more money than they ever dreamed of.
And this is this is all pretty new.
Yeah, it's entirely new.
This is new things being done with new technology.
There had never been stars in the way that these people were stars,
Yeah.
because nobody, you know, in London could have seen a moving picture of Mary Pickford before this time.
Right. So everybody's seen the same.
And I feel like you have a relationship with that person. And
Absolutely.
see them move. Not talk, but move. Now...
So it's pretty organic how stars were born. It's like...
Yeah, I mean,
you can famous because everybody saw you.
Yeah.
Okay.
And this is a good example of the growth of movies in general. A lot of what we're going to be talking about, there's a lot of examples of all of this. I'm going to pick individual ones that highlight kind of how the whole thing worked.
Right.
And we're going to miss some stuff because we're not doing a whole podcast on Hollywood. So there's a guy named Barney Balaban.
Barney Balaban. This is the Nickelodeon guy.
Yes.
From I remember you telling me about this.
Let's just
Balaban.
find my notes on him real quick.
Balaban was the name I couldn't
There we go.
come up with.
So in 1908, in the Chicagoland area, because that's what Chicago was called back then,
Barney Balaban.
Barney Balaban and his family of immigrants started a Nickelodeon theater. It's 1908. By 1920, there were 75 different full-on movie theaters that the Balaban family owned.
That's quite
in and around Illinois, Chicago in general.
Okay.
One of their big tricks to get people to go to Nickelodeon was they had like a form of air conditioning. And if it was really hot, you would like, I'm going to go sit in there for 10 minutes.
Sure.
Barney Balaban was asked if he wanted to run Paramount by, I believe, Adolph Zucker in 1936. So a guy who started with one theater ends up the head of a entire studio.
That's pretty intense.
Within 30 years.
Yeah.
And he's not even from LA. He moves out to LA to run Paramount.
Right.
But this is indicative of how small the world was, where the head of a studio knew the head of one of their biggest theaters. And he was like, you could probably do this, right? Like, you know movies.
Right.
So Barney Balaban went out to Los Angeles in 1936, and he ran Paramount until 1964, when he was then moved to the board. And eventually the studio fell to a cocaine movie lover named Robert Evans.
Robert Evans.
Who made
Bob Evans.
Yeah, but Robert Evans is responsible for some of the absolute best movie making of all time.
Yeah.
If you look at the list of the shit he did, it's all like The Conversation, Rosemary's Baby, Chinatown, Harold and Maude. He's just putting out fucking bangers.
Yeah. We discussed him in our new Hollywood series.
A little fun fact about Barney Balaban is that his nephew is a guy named Bob Balaban.
Yeah.
Bob Balaban
How do we know that?
is an actor that you would recognize from Christopher Guest movies and Seinfeld, Close Encounters of the Third Kind, and a bunch of shit.
Okay.
He was also in Midnight Cowboy,
Ah.
which was a movie made by Paramount. It was the first movie to get an X rating. partially because of the scene Bob Balaban is in, where he goes down on Joe Buck, the John Voight character, in a movie theater, and then cannot pay John Voight, and then John Voight steals his watch. There's a fun story that Bob Balaban tells about going into his uncle's office, and there's like the reel of film of Midnight Cowboy sitting on his desk that he had just watched, and they never talked about it. Also, side note, I was curious about this while watching Midnight Cowboy, how his name's Joe Buck.
Sure.
And there's a very famous sports broadcaster also named Joe Buck.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, when was that guy born? Like 3 months before. Imagine how his parents felt being like, Joe Buck, strong name. 3 months later, he's a gay hustler on the streets of New York City. That's funny. I do like Joe Buck, though. I didn't. Now I do.
Joe Buck out there to really make something. The second Joe Buck out there to really make something of yourself.
Yeah. So essentially,
so what are the early movie? What's the early?
Well, hang on. Hollywood gets set up.
Okay.
I accidentally muted us. We're not going to edit that.
Good catch.
Hollywood gets set up kind of at random in the place that is now Hollywood. It was not called Hollywood then, but there's still a theater, or not a theater, a studio that exists there.
Okay.
That was the first studio. It was called like Sunset Studios, some shit like that.
Okay.
And it's on Sunset in now Hollywood, and it is still in existence. One of the things it did was like all of the 80s hair metal videos were filmed there. Which is just a fun fact.
Yeah.
I like that it's still around. Early Hollywood there's a reason it got the nickname Babylon.
Exactly.
Yes. Now, we will be getting into more of this kind of shit in an interview that we have coming up with a guy named Sean Levy, who wrote many books, but including one about the Chateau Marmont and Sunset Strip. And there's a bunch of shit in there that's indicative of this.
That's going to be interesting.
But a good example is, and we'll talk about this with him, is there's a lady named Alla Nazimovov.
Ali Nazimovov.
Yes.
It's a cool name.
Who, her house was called Hillhurst or Hillcrest, one of those two.
Okay.
And it was directly across the street from the Chateau Marmont on Sunset. And she sold it, and it became the Garden of Allah, A-L-L-A, and then later A-L-L-A-H. And it was a den of
iniquity.
Yes.
Fucking.
And just, it was more of that than the Chateau was at the time.
Sex, drugs, and pre-jazz.
Yeah. She also put together a lot of fake marriages.
Okay.
Between like lesbians and gays in Hollywood.
Oh,
she was a notorious bisexual.
Yeah.
And everyone knew that. And her production of Salome was in like 1912.
Is this the Salome that was like...
yeah, it was all gays.
Oscar Wilde made, and there was like a big stage production in Britain,
same thing,
court case.
Yeah,
and people went.
Then she remade Salome in 1912 with only gay people, and nobody knew.
Awesome.
But she put together Rudolph Valentino with his two wives, and the rumors there is that everyone involved in that was not into it. Yeah. Now, we also get the birth of...
So Hollywood's full of fixers early.
Yes, we get the birth of sex symbols, like Theta Bara, and later on Clara Bow. If you look at them now, you're like, hey, why? Stuff was different back then.
I don't know. I see it. I see it.
It is also important to note that we are already involved in women being very young. A lot of the Hollywood starlets came from the Ziegfeld girls in New York. Most of them were underage. They were dancers.
Yeah.
And they would basically in a pipeline from dancing there to Hollywood. There's also... we'll do it here. We'll talk about it here. Charlie Chaplin.
Oh, yeah.
Charlie Chaplin is important to movies.
Important to movies and
studios, because him, Douglas Fairbanks, and Mary Pickford got together and they made United Artists, which put out a lot of really good stuff because they weren't under controls of like shit like Warner, etc.
Yeah.
But he had a habit of...
yeah, more than once.
Yeah. He groomed the girl since she was like 7.
Yeah, that's
her
a
name was
fucked up
Lita
story.
McMurray, and the mom of her was super into it, and they took him for everything that he was worth, essentially. Which, like, I don't know, that's fine. You groomed the girl since he was 7, but it's kind of also the mom's fault. It's not the girl's fault. Is my point.
It was not
two
good
parents,
people involved.
It's two adults getting into a bad situation with a child, which we see over and over in Hollywood.
Over and over.
Shirley Temple and her mom went to a meeting at MGM, and Shirley Temple was propositioned by taking his dick out she was 10 by a much older Louis B. Mayer. Louis B. Mayer is a fucking scumbag.
And he ran.
And he didn't ran, he worked for, but he was like, he didn't own MGM, but he was like the head of it.
Okay.
But consistently, Louis B. Mayer was a scumbag. He's also the guy that popularized the casting couch. Every afternoon at 4 o'clock, he would be, he'd let a starlet into his office, and no one would bother them for an hour. And then he'd go home to his wife and kids.
Yeah.
That's why everyone's like, Harvey Weinstein. Okay. It's been going on.
It is as bad as that. But
I'm just saying it's not
systematic.
New.
Yeah.
There's reasons that these jokes exist because it happened.
We'll find that's true with a lot of things.
Yes.
Like, when did this start? Long time ago.
Yeah. So between 1920 and 1930, a lot happened.
Okay.
Essentially, we're looking at like the transition from silent to talking.
Okay.
Stars fell off then.
Right, because some people don't have voices for movies.
That, or just any fucking, like, there was a guy who was a massive star.
Okay.
Brad Pitt plays a version of him in Babylon, and his first talking movie, everyone laughed at him because his voice was insane and high.
Yeah.
And his next one was fine, and that's very interesting. The first one was released by MGM, and the theory goes that they fucked with his voice because he was worth too much money, and they wanted to kill his contract.
Okay.
And his next movie was good, and he sounded normal, but it was too late.
Okay.
Now, if this could stop turning, this microphone, that would be fucking incredible.
I might be able to put this over.
Give us a second. We're going to try and figure something out here. Okay. I don't like how the microphone just stopped.
Not sure what happened there.
Let's get back into it. So, one of the big things that also happened between 1920 and 1930 and lasted until the 50s was the Hays Code came into effect.
Yes.
The Hays Code was essentially, it was by a guy named William Hayes. He was the guy behind it. And in my notes, I call him a slimy fuck who came to LA via Washington. He was run out of the Capitol for taking bribes from Harry Sinclair, who was famous for the Teapot Dome situation, while William Hayes was running the Harding campaign. His next job was to rid Hollywood of sin.
Yeah. Again, none of this is new. None of this is new or isolated.
Yeah. So, essentially, as the popular idea is that the Hays Code was put into effect because movies themselves were too out there, too sexual, too violent, etc. A lot of the reason the Hays Code was actually put into effect was because of the stars' behavior.
Sure.
And events that surrounded stars. So one of those, Fatty Arbuckle, a former plumber who became a funny fat man, was a big silent star in the 19-teens.
Yeah.
In 1921, at a San Francisco hotel, there was a big party, and a wannabe actress named Virginia Rapp was violently assaulted, seemingly by Fatty Arbuckle, possibly with a Coke bottle. And he burst her bladder, and it killed her 4 days later. And there was a big trial about this. He got off, but his reputation was done. Now, there are things that have come out recently that do bag up the theory that he was framed. Because, again, the amount of money that the studio was paying him, they didn't want to pay him.
Yeah.
So, in a lot of this shit, there's two ways to look at everything. Where
there's more than that.
Yeah, there's a lot of ways to look at everything. It is possible he didn't do this and someone else did, but regardless, he took the fall for it, and a big star took the fall for a horrible action. There is also Wallace Reed, who I wrote down was a dopehead with a star turn in Birth of a Nation.
Okay.
he rose to the very top. He was working incredibly hard. He was making like 20 movies a year. He turned to morphine, and and essentially
into that whole thing.
Yeah, in 1923, he got sent away to get clean in a sanitarium, but he ended up dying officially from the flu, but it was probably from withdrawals. So that hit the fucking papers.
Horrible conditions in that place.
Yeah. Then back to Clara Bow. Clara Bow was a big star. So there's a
moral panic going on.
Yeah.
Is that what you're... Okay.
Yeah. Clara Bow was a big star. There's a lot of rumors about Clara Bow, like her fucking the whole UCLA football team, including John Wayne. That's probably not true, but it doesn't matter. Again, it doesn't matter that it's not true. People thought it was.
Because the mythology was there was just these gods on Mount Olympus getting up to the craziest shit.
Yes, and I gotta find this interesting case in my notes here.
I like that we're using your notes.
Yeah, that's why I wrote them.
I know.
I'm not gonna write these notes and not use them. Another big one was on February 1922, February 2nd, 1922. Another big star, director and actor, William Desmond Taylor, was not found. I wrote down found. We're editing as I go along. Is found dead in his LA bungalow. Now the doctor called it a hemorrhage, but there was also a bullet hole, so that doesn't match up with that.
That'll lead to a hemorrhage.
But he didn't call it that for that. You know what I mean? The doctor then instantly disappeared forever.
Okay, sure.
Also, William Desmond Taylor's brother disappeared forever. A lot of people were implicated in this murder. It was never solved. Actresses were implicated in it. Actors were implicated. Studios were implicated in the cover-up because they were there first. They were there before the cops were. That's the way it works a lot of the time.
It's the way it works historically, yeah.
Is that the studio shows up and then the cops show up, or someone shows up and the cops show up. So same thing happened with Marilyn Monroe when she died. Was it Peter Lawton?
Peter Lawford.
Peter Lawford. Two different, very similar names. Peter Lawford called a guy named Frank Otash, who was a former LAPD guy, become fixer. There's a very good book about him. Just look him up, look up Fred Otash. He was involved in a lot of fixing. That was his job. And surveilling. He also got like Judy Garland off drugs at one point. Okay. So he was sent in to do a lot of shit like that.
Okay.
But the studio called in people, they cleaned up the whole fucking scene, then the cops showed up and they were like, hey, there's no evidence left. And they were like, whoops.
So are the studios, what about like government intelligence? Is there a connection between the early studios and that?
I don't know. I mean, not as much as there is later. You know what I mean? There's rumors of it, but it's not as... Once anything can be used for propaganda, government intelligence will get involved.
Yeah, well, I mean, movies are pretty influential on people.
Yeah, well, we'll get there. Hays Code. Got to finish the Hays Code. The Hays Code was...
cleaning up the image of Hollywood.
Yeah, and essentially became like the way that Hollywood made movies through the 50s. Even after technically the code was not in existence anymore. Honestly, it's the way Hollywood made movies until like 1967.
So what exactly is the Hays Code enforcing?
Well, there's a fun little graphic that was made.
Sex and violence, I'm assuming?
It's the Thou Shalt Not graphic.
That's right, I remember this whole picture.
You can look it up. It's a lady. They're doing everything that you shouldn't do in this one picture.
It's a sexy picture.
And it says, Thou shalt not... law defeated. Okay, like don't.
Oh, you should not show. Yeah,
show the law being defeated. The inside of thigh, lace lingerie, dead men, narcotics, drinking, exposed bosom, gambling, pointing gun, or Tommy gun. You cannot point a gun at the fucking screen. Now Jane Mansfield broke the exposed bosom thing and Promises in the mid 50s, but we didn't really end up seeing a lot of that until 1967, until New Hollywood took over.
Right.
And then you end up in the 80s where they're like, hey, here's the opening of 16 Candles. It's a high school girl's shower.
Yeah.
Why? At least in Carrie, it was like there was a reason for it.
Right.
And and also they were like 25. In 16 Candles, there's no reason for it.
Well, also, I think this sort of thing is pretty tone deaf. It's, to be like, this is the problem.
Yeah.
Sex and...
There's also this is how foreign films started to get picked up.
Oh yeah, because they'd always show.
Because
I mean,
they
this is a
weren't
high school kid.
Yeah, they weren't under the guise
Yeah,
of the Hays Code. They could make whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
And that's where you end up with shit like I Am Curious Yellow being a massive fucking hit, and like Jackie Kennedy going to see it, which is basically a porn film disguised as art.
Sure.
It's a very boring
It's
porno.
European.
It's super boring.
Yeah.
But it shows stuff that no American movie could show. In 1932, a movie called The Sign of the Cross came out, where a lady is tied up naked to like a pole or a statue, and that like didn't happen again for 20, 30 years.
Okay.
Which is fucking nuts. And as my notes say, 40 years later, Clint Eastwood and Don Siegel showed a dead naked 14-year-old girl getting taken out of her premature grave. But like censorship doesn't take context into account.
Right.
Which is important to note with like
That's
shit
what I'm
like
saying,
Dirty
like,
Harry.
It's tone deaf.
Yeah, it just says no to all of it, as opposed to like, hey, does that actually make sense in this movie? Are we really supposed to hate this serial killer? Are we making a point here?
Yeah. So it was enforcing like sexual mores, but also like a patriotic angle.
The patriotic stuff comes in more into play
No
in the
law
40s.
defeated, no,
Yeah,
it's like
but the
very-
40s really show the
'cause we're in
patriotism.
the war.
Yeah, we'll get there in a second. I just want to point out there's a number of people who did not make it between Talking, Depression, and after.
Yes.
Milton Stills, Jeannie Eagles, Robert Ames, Carl Dan, Paul Byrne, Dorothy Millett, John Bowers, James Murray, George Hill, Lou Telegran, and Lupe Velez.
These were all big stars that didn't.
These are all
make it.
big stars or directors.
Okay.
Lupe, we'll get to her possibly. But it's also interesting to note that Paul Byrne shot himself in a house that was later bought by Jay Sebring.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know what that means, but it's interesting.
Well, what happened to him?
We'll find out. Yeah, I don't know, man. But essentially, there's also becomes a thing of like female stars aging out. Lupe Velez killed herself because she was pregnant in 36, essentially.
Sad.
Yeah, and that's really why it seems like.
Just because she couldn't go on
Yeah,
not
being huge.
young and huge.
Yes. So that's a fucking bummer, but
Yeah.
that's consistently shit that would happen. Now, during the war, a lot of film studios were slow to pick up anti-German sentiment.
So the Hollywood stayed apolitical
Yeah, Hollywood
For
mostly
as long
stayed
as possible.
apolitical until 1941.
until the money started to blow that way.
Well, this is what happened essentially.
All right.
So, a lot of studios made a lot of money overseas, including in the German market.
Okay.
Warner Brothers and United Artists United Artists is again artists together to make a studio, so they're kind of outside of the studio system.
Sure. Sure.
Warner Brothers is the only studio inside the studio system that was like, hey, this Nazi thing seems to be an issue. We're gonna pull our shit from there. Also, their main guy in Berlin got killed by the Nazis, and that didn't fucking help.
See, that'll do it.
Yeah, but Harry Warner really wanted out of that whole fucking Hitler deal. Louis B. Mayer didn't. Anyway.
Charlie Chaplin called the Hitler problem pretty early.
Yeah, well, so Confessions of a Nazi Spy, which is a Warner movie, was the first movie to deal with Nazis. That was 1939.
39?
Right after The Great Dictator came out, which was a United Artists movie.
Yeah.
And then essentially nothing happened on the anti-German, anti-Nazi front until 1941 when we were officially in the war.
Wow.
Then
so,
everyone was making anti-Nazi movies.
right. So The Great Dictator came out when?
39.
Okay.
Yeah. And then you have people like William Wilder and John Ford and John Huston.
Billy Wilder?
Yeah.
Okay.
All being conscripted into officer positions in the military. And like major, colonel, etc. John Ford had a sword that he liked to carry because he found, I don't know. But anyway,
Sure. Wouldn't you?
yeah, I guess.
You-
They went overseas and they filmed battles, but they also filmed like propaganda films and educational training army films.
Sure.
And then when they came back, not
Was this for Mount Lookout
no,
or Lookout Mountain?
no, this is unrelated.
Okay.
They were like overseas doing shit.
Okay.
Like John Ford filmed like multiple bombing raids, like shit like that.
Okay.
Like for real. um, but when they came back, not all of them, because like John Huston did whatever the fuck he wanted to do.
Sure.
But some of them continued this like America First patriotism in their movies. It's also interesting to note that people like William Wilder were straight up running from the Nazis. Like they were German.
Yeah.
And they got the fuck out of Germany before everything got real bad. So like them going back makes a lot of sense because they're like, we were fucking, this is they're wrecking my shit.
Yeah.
You know, so through the war years, we end up with propaganda films, anti-Nazi films. Finally, Casablanca is a big one, just dealing with the war. And then I think that was again a Warner movie. After the war, a lot of movies are intended to like show good American values.
Right.
Like This Is America, we're the shining,
This
you
is
know,
where
city on a hill.
Intelligence gets involved with filmmaking a little bit.
Yeah, it's
Just shaping the public perception. You know, you can.
there's always once you end up in the
you can
50s,
control a lot.
post-war years are a time when a lot of things started in terms of control, power, and shaping the future we are currently living, not just in Hollywood.
Right, but I just mean from a.
Another seamless transition.
I know.
We didn't just stop for a half hour. Okay, we were somewhere, now we're somewhere else. Let's talk about weird deaths.
Yeah, there was a lot of weird deaths.
There's a lot of stuff going on today. Okay. I'm just going to bring up a couple interesting ones.
Like it was all planned.
There was a lady named Thelma Todd who was a actress and comedian. I hate that phrase, but it's funny. She died December 16th, 1935 in a garage parked in a car. I'm sitting in the garage parked in a car. In a car parked in the garage of actress Jewel Carmond, who was director Roland West's estranged wife, who Thelma Todd was having an affair with.
Okay.
She had blood in her face and also a sordid past, including turning down Meyer Lansky on a deal. Meyer Lansky is a mob figure. This goes into what you were just talking about.
So there was mob activity.
There was a lot of mob activity in Los
Hollywood.
Angeles with Lansky and Bugsy Siegel and Mickey Cohen.
Okay.
And others. We will get into that,
Yeah.
hopefully with Sean Levy in more detail.
He'll know all about that.
What if he doesn't?
Then we'll make it.
Yeah. You know, they ruled that death a suicide. The blood angle's certainly fucking weird, though.
There was a lot of suicides that would have been pretty hard to pull off.
And we will get into all of that more
Okay.
when we get into Laurel Canyon.
There's a lot of.
I also just want to take a moment here because I see my notes.
I see those notes as well.
I want to acknowledge that the Actors Studio changed Hollywood very drastically.
Okay.
The Actors Studio came out of the Group Theater in New York. It was founded by Elia Kazan, Cheryl Crawford, and Robert Lewis, but then Lee Strasberg became the main teacher there in the early 50s.
Mm-hmm.
They were teaching the method of Konstantin Stanislavski, who was a Russian acting coach that they were all hot for.
It's a great name.
The method deserves its own podcast, but essentially it has a lot to do with bringing up your own emotions and sense memory and really inhabiting a character. And it's a vast change from the old Hollywood style of acting, which is like we're going to talk in a mid-Atlantic accent and say the lines with emotion, but not like emotion.
Right.
If you want to see a really big difference, watch like a Bogart movie and then watch a Brando movie.
Sure.
You're way too far from the mic. Don't move the mic, move yourself.
I don't want to sit on your lap.
No, Brando and James Dean were the first people to bring the method into Hollywood.
Okay.
Streetcar Named Desire, East of Eden, Rebel Without a Cause were the big breaks on that, and people going, oh my God, this is new.
Yeah. And it was.
These are some of the people that came out of the Actors Studio. Robert De Niro, Al Pacino, Anne Bancroft, Ellen Burstyn, Dennis Hopper, Martin Landau, Walter Matthau, Steve McQueen, Paul Newman, Jack Nicholson, Harvey Keitel, Eli Wallach, Joanne Woodward, Rod Steiger, Robert Duvall, Ben Gazzara, Sally Field, Montgomery Clift, Marilyn Monroe, Gene Wilder, Dustin Hoffman.
So most of my favorites.
So everyone in every movie between 1965 and 1990. And then everyone that played like an FBI detective in 2000.
Okay. Yeah.
That's how I got to know Harvey Keitel and Dustin Hoffman.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's get back to some odd deaths in and around Hollywood. Oh, that's just a picture of a big old
Boobies.
blowjob. Don't worry about why.
Big old blowjob.
Big old blowjob.
It was, by all definition.
A big old blowjob. Where the fuck? I have a series of these in a row that I'm looking for right now. I wrote these in an insane order that makes sense to me.
But you're scrolling so fast, there's no
I
human
found
way
them.
you can find it.
I'm finding them. I'm gonna find them.
Okay.
Oh yeah, it's up here. It's above Manson. There it all is. Manson goes through this whole thing. We'll get back to him. I just want to talk about some weird murders that went down.
Those are grisly death scenes.
Yeah.
For anyone not watching.
Yeah, there's some real gross pictures. So we're gonna start with a good example of a Hollywood murder,
Okay.
and then give some other ones. One, on December 28th, 1963, Karen, born Roberta Kupcinet, was found dead in her West Hollywood apartment.
Okay.
She was the daughter of Chicago's Ira Kupcinet, who was a sports reporter, talk show host, radio personality, and a guy with mob ties, because he was in Chicago. Karen moved to Hollywood to act. She had small roles and then had a kind of consistent guest spot on Wide Country, which was opposite star Andrew Prine, who she started dating.
Okay.
Andrew Prine was less into her than she was into him. Now,
His loss.
Eli thinks every woman is attractive.
Just
In fairness, Karen Kupcinet is
she's
attractive.
A beautiful woman.
Well, she's very dead.
Doesn't change the fact that she was beautiful.
So she took, like many women of the time, drugs that were both for weight loss, not for weight loss, for sleep, not for sleep.
Yeah.
Her weight fluctuated drastically.
Uppers, downers, spinners,
Yeah.
poppers, zippers.
She also, so she was getting letters, and Andrew Prine was getting letters that were cutouts from magazines.
Oh, like the old classic.
Yeah, the classic.
Yeah.
You know. Now, after her death, an interesting note, they found the magazines in her apartment.
Okay.
She was sending the letters. So, anyway, she gets pregnant by Andrew Prine. She goes to Tijuana, and Mark Goddard and his wife, Marcia, they're actors, take her there to get the abortion. They go back to Los Angeles, and then JFK was assassinated on November 22nd, 1963. The following weekend,
Okay.
Karen and Andrew Prine and some friends go to Palm Springs. They come back from Palm Springs on Sunday. Andrew Prine sees her then, drops her off, and she is dead the night of November 28th, which is that same week. I believe it is Wednesday.
Okay.
That
So
night,
Kennedy's dead. They're
Yeah.
on the trip.
yes, that night she is at the Goddard's house for dinner. She's apparently acting erratically. Erratically. She
Or-
She didn't eat, which is no shock based on her behavior in general, but she also moved very weird, talked very odd. To me, it seems like signs of someone who's fucking spun out, like, drugs and shit.
Okay.
She was also telling a story over and over of a baby being left at her door, which there's no evidence of that having happened. There's no police report. She says she called the cops. They picked the baby up. There's nothing on that.
Okay.
So she leaves by taxi at 8:20, and she tells the Goddards she'll call them when she's home. She does not call them. She spends the rest of the evening with Ed Rubin, who's a writer, and Robert Hathaway, who is an actor. She ends up going to bed around 11:30. They watch 10:30. They watch TV and leave at 11:15. On November 30th, 2 days later, the Goddards like, we haven't heard from Karen. So they go check on her, and they find her face down, naked, dead on the couch.
Okay.
Press got word by the scanners, and they put it all out to everyone. Death was ruled instantly a homicide because the hyoid bone was fractured, which is indicative of being choked to death.
Right.
Now, this is where things get odd.
Okay.
The two people, Ed Rubin and Robert Hathaway, hear the news. They show up on their own accord to the Hollywood Sheriff Department because they were the last to see her, and they were like, what the fuck? They undergo interviews. Their stories do line up, and they are cleared. They were polygraphed. Everyone was polygraphed, and polygraphs are weird, but everyone all the time back then was polygraphed.
They thought it did something.
Andy Prine was also cleared. He hadn't seen Karen since Sunday, and he had an alibi for the night of her murder because he was fucking another lady after a movie,
Okay.
which the lady confirmed, and also he had like been to the theater, and that was during the time that she would have been killed.
Okay.
So he did talk to Karen that night at 11:30 p.m., but he was still with that lady.
Okay.
Because like she called him at his house.
Okay.
So it wasn't him. They really checked in on it. Her parents are like, I don't think he did it, and everyone was like, this doesn't seem like him. He didn't love her that much, but he did like to nail her, and it's not in his personality to just kill a lady.
Okay.
So
Sounds like he checks out
yeah, it's important.
for the story anyway.
Now, it's important here to note as well that the doctor was a known dope addict who fucked up a lot.
Which doctor?
The coroner.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So that coroner, there's a pretty high possibility that during the examination, he's the one who broke the hyoid bone.
Oh, jeez.
And then
So
was like, oh, that's broken.
it was a murder.
Yeah. Because it comes to basically be that there was one of two things that happened. One was a guy named David Lang, who was a struggling actor who lived in the same building as her.
Okay.
Is the guy that killed her because he was obsessed with her and was a kind of known freako.
Obsession usually, yeah, that's a good indicator.
Yeah, but at the same time, like people in the building, there's another lady in the building that was like, he was with me at the time. It's very odd. It doesn't necessarily stick.
Okay.
They also found books in her apartment, and one of them was like basically about you should dance naked. That's like what the page was open to.
Okay.
Okay. So one of the main theories here is she was really fucking high,
Sure.
like normal, doing the
Yeah.
thing the book said, and she
Uh.
fell and like basically like in the fall killed her, like died.
Sure. It's possible.
Both of those are equally as possible. It's still ruled unsolved. Now, in the way that Hollywood goes,
Sounds like we can't trust the doctors that do these
no.
perform these coroner.
In the way that like Hollywood stories go, word goes around that her dad, Cup, had ties to Jack Rue because he had mob ties,
Sure.
and that he knew of the mafia-sanctioned presidential hit.
So we're getting into the yeah.
Yeah, and so did Karen. There was a phone call 20 minutes before Kennedy was shot for an unidentified woman warning of the hit. People are like, it had to have been Karen. There's no evidence on that really being the case. There's nothing that backs this up in any capacity. It just happened back to back, and he knew mob people, so they were like, it's the same.
Yeah.
It was probably David Lang, or she fucking accidentally died. But in the way of Hollywood murders, there's always like I don't know.
Yeah.
Now, here's some other deaths. We're not going to go into them in as great of detail. Sal Mineo from Rebel Without a Cause,
Yeah.
which is a cursed movie. If you look at Sal Mineo, Natalie Wood, and James Dean,
Yeah, I want to go into that sometime.
he was found dead in his apartment garage in 1976. A kid, essentially, like a 19-year-old named Lionel Ray Williams, admitted to it in 79 as a mugging gone bad.
Okay.
Phil Hartman was shot, maybe, by his wife,
Maybe.
Bryn, who then shot herself. But, you know, there's rumors on this, there's rumors on all of this.
Yeah.
Warning, next page images are pretty fucked, is in my notes. Dorothy Stratton was shot in the face by her angry soon-to-be ex-husband Paul Snyder, August 14th, 1980. Peter Bogdanovich was trying to turn her from a Playboy model into a star.
Okay.
We know who did that one. Now, we have the 4 on the floor. I don't want to stay on that fucking thing.
That's pretty good.
I gotta scroll down. I was just gonna leave it on.
This person's
Wildly
reaction
dead
says that's my
Yeah, Robert Blake, we'll get into him. The 4 on the Floor murders, or the Wonderland murders.
Yeah.
There's a very good documentary that Michael Connelly made called Wonderland that's on Prime. I recommend you watch it. It's much more detailed than we're going to be on it. But on July 1st, 1981, at 8763 Wonderland Avenue in Laurel Canyon, Billy Deverell, Ron and Susan Lanius, and David Lynn and Barbara Richardson, is that right? Yeah, were attacked in a brutal, if you see the pictures, Brutal murder. Now, this one's interesting because John Holmes, the porn star, is involved in it, as is nightclub owner and kind of mob guy Eddie Nash.
Okay.
So what seems to have happened was these people burned Nash on a dope deal, and he sent in people to kill them. John Holmes knew both parties. John Holmes seemingly let the people into the house and was there during the murders, but they were going to do something to him if he didn't do it. So he gets acquitted.
I remember the movie.
Yeah, with
Vaguely.
Val Kilmer.
Yeah.
The one where he looks nothing like John Holmes.
Well, yeah.
With
Lisa Kudrow is in it.
Yeah,
too?
she's good in it. She's the best fucking part of that movie, if I'm being honest.
You have your giant gift for evil.
Dylan McDermott's in it, and he has a horrible fake goatee and plays a biker.
I don't recall that, but that sounds
Yeah,
good.
the first fucking shot of him, I was like, just grow it for real. Looks fucking
patch is
stupid.
crooked.
But anyway, this Eddie Nash gets away on this. Acquittals for all. There's also a lot of cops that have been interviewed about this case stated that Eddie Nash had a no-touch policy on him during this time period. And a no-touch policy is something very common with figures in and around Los Angeles and Hollywood.
Okay.
Where they're doing crimes, but for some reason they're allowed to do those crimes.
Isn't that usually because the government they're doing something?
It's because
for the
something's
government?
going
Yeah.
on.
So no touch policy from the powers that be.
Always from somewhere up.
Okay, sure.
Manson family had a no-touch policy, but
You
we'll get into all
think?
that later. May 4th, 2001, Beretta star Robert Blake shoots Bonnie Lee Bailey after lunch in Studio City, just in the middle of the fucking day, and he got away with it because the defense painted Bonnie as a psycho, and
Yeah. So
they were like, cool, okay, you're Beretta. So
funny how
you're
that
Beretta and
happens.
she's no one. Now, Phil Spector,
Mm-hmm.
who was around Laurel Canyon and around the 60s scene, on
Had
February
something to do with
3rd, 2004, shot Lana Clarkson, who was an actress, in his house. It took 6 years for him to be convicted, and something weird was going on, because there's a lot of deaths around the people involved in Laurel Canyon. He's also at the beginning of Easy Rider. This one is just a very odd murder or death that happened in LA.
Okay.
This is all painting a death scene, a Hollywood death trip that seems to plague this city.
There is a Hollywood death trip that seems to.
And this
plague the
isn't
city.
even including like Rodney Acula or Akala or the
Oh, right.
Riverside Strangler
Not even
or
the
the
serial killers we
Hillsides.
know
Yeah,
about.
not even those. These are just weird deaths
just
that
weird
are
deaths.
unexplainable. Serial killers are the Sunset Strip people or the fucking highway. You know, there's all the freeway killers. There's a bunch of them. February 1st, 2013, a 21-year-old tourist, Elisa Lamb, was found in a water cistern on the roof of the Stay on Main Hotel in downtown LA. Watch the security footage of
I
it.
remember this
It's
one.
fucking cool.
It's
Bro, it's
fucking weird.
bad. It makes you feel bad. It's not fun to look at.
No.
She was acting really erratically in an elevator like she was being followed, and no one can figure out how she ended up falling into a closed pool of water that was 8 feet tall with no access other than a ladder that was not there.
Yeah, dude.
And then she was
Such a
in the
weird story.
hotel's water supply. It's bad.
Yeah.
Natalie Wood drowns off the coast of Catalina Island, November 29th, 1981.
She drowns us in air
Quotations?
quotes. Yeah.
Those aren't air quotes, those are real quotes. Because it's written down. Her husband Robert Wagner and Christopher Walken were on the boat. When her body was recovered, there was bruises and cuts on her arms and face. And 2 witnesses on a different boat claimed they heard screams from that night from somewhere out in the water. Ruled accidental drowning.
Yep.
July 24th, 1975. A bit player named Barbara Colby and her friend James Kiernan are gunned down seemingly at random after leaving their acting class. Kiernan, before dying, tells the cops that 2 men in a van rolled up and opened fire. No motive or suspects ever released. October 30th, 1968.
All right.
Silent star Ramon Navarro is killed by 2 brothers, Paul and Tom Ferguson. The story goes that Navarro, a known queer with a penchant for younger men, because he was in his late 60s here, invited the brothers up to his house in exchange for money, and they killed him for the cash that he supposedly had, but they left with $20 before being caught, booked, and paroled in under 10 years, only to be both arrested again in separate situations,
Jesus.
booked as lifers. Tom killed himself, and inmates killed Paul.
A nice, yeah, sounds like a nice
That
family.
one's solved. Still weird.
Still weird.
One of the first big Hollywood, I don't know if it's a good metaphor. Stage to screen star Peg Entwistle took a dive off the H on the Hollywoodland sign. She had a note that read, "I am afraid, I am a coward, I am sorry for everything. If I had done this a long time ago, I would have saved a lot of pain."
Oh, that's such a sad note.
Yeah, a lot of these are.
That's a,
All of this is a bummer.
yeah,
There's something undercurrent in Hollywood that eats people alive, it seems like.
I think so.
Now,
Is it the big Hollywood machine?
Yeah,
just
it's
chewing
something.
people up and spitting them
it's
out.
fucking something, man.
Saying, "Give me your dreams and I'll make something real for you."
And sometimes it happens. And
Yeah.
sometimes when it happens, you still get killed, like Sharon Tate.
And sometimes when it happens, you end up getting there through nefarious means of your own.
Yeah. Now, I was going to go, oh, yeah. A lot of bodies, by the way, are found off of Mulholland Drive,
Yeah.
named for Water Commissioner Mulholland.
Right. I figured.
But that's for another episode when we get into weird shit in 68, etc. 68, 69, because
Okay.
some very important bodies were found there. Okay, so Hollywood is a weird place.
I think we've established Hollywood is weird.
Yeah. There's this overcurrent of, glistening stardom and morality, and an undercurrent of death and suicide and murder and rape and all this other shit.
Yeah.
Now, an important thing also to stop on real quick is McCarthyism and the House Against Un-American Activities Committee,
Sure.
which happened in the late 40s and 50s. This deserves its own episode, which we're not going to give it.
Okay.
But two really good examples of this are Dalton Trumbo and Lucille Ball.
Okay.
So first, they out of 30,000 people working in Hollywood in various capacity, about 329 were the only communists in Hollywood. They were trying to root them out, and there was basically none of them. Dalton Trumbo was one. He was a screenwriter and just general author. After he was kicked out of Hollywood, he wrote like Roman Holiday and Spartacus and shit under different names. He
Okay.
kept working and won awards, but under different names. And was like, "Who's this new guy?"
Yeah. He's real similar to Dalton Trumbo, but not a commie.
Yeah. Now, Lucille Ball has an interesting story, and this is the case for most of the people that were investigated. They essentially were like, "Hey, we think Lucille Ball's a communist because we found her registered as a communist in the 1930s."
And there were a lot of registered communists.
But with her,
back in the day.
so her grandpa was a
a
communist.
lot of workers' union. A lot of
Yeah.
Yeah.
Her grandpa was a communist.
Right.
After losing everything in the Depression, she was very young, and he was like, "Hey, can you vote for this person who's a communist?" She registered as a communist, didn't vote, was not a communist.
Sure.
But when they went through all this bullshit, all that got dragged back out. And that's a much more common occurrence than people actually being a
Yeah,
communist.
it's like basically somebody finds something in your history that says you were a libertarian and just being like, "Wait, what? That's a thing now?" It's like,
Yeah. It's... Sorry, we just got fucking interrupted.
I said sorry.
It's fine.
baseball cards.
Yeah, what the fuck? Just got carried in a bunch of baseball cards from nowhere. So when we're looking at everything that sets the stage for what went on in LA in the 1960s, it's already
Yeah.
been a very weird place.
Yes.
There's already been a lot of murder. There's already been a lot of suicide. There's already been a lot of, various dealings that are not above board.
Yeah, and you've got all these currents of like mob stuff, sex stuff, drug stuff, government stuff. It's a lot going on in like one little petri dish where everything is just kind of allowed to grow.
And all of it is reflected in mass pop culture.
Right, and it connects to like the overall zeitgeist. Yeah.
So one of the things that we will be dealing with when we talk to Sean Levy is, because we can't talk about all of it, but we'll be focusing ideally with him on Chateau Marmont, Sunset Strip, that
Yes.
kind of deal,
Yes.
as a example of Hollywood and Los Angeles as a whole.
Okay.
Because the Strip often reflects what's going on in the city.
I can see that.
It's the center for the cool people. especially once you get to the 60s.
Yeah.
And even before then. But once you get to the 60s, the Strip becomes famous. It becomes this whole thing of this is the center of the world. This is where everything cool is going on. There's also, by the way, Joan Didion has a quote that like LA's purest vision of itself is itself on fire, something along those lines.
Joan.
Joan Didion's the best.
She's
she wrote a lot of really great stuff about Los Angeles.
Yeah. Way with words.
Yeah. So the last thing here that I want to talk about is the continuous. Oh man, this is all fucked up. My page, it drives me fucking insane how Pages just is like, we're gonna put stuff wherever.
You were. That's why I stopped using it. You were finishing a thought there.
Yeah, I was, but it was maybe this isn't fucked up. This actually might be in order. What the fuck is going on here, guys?
Your notes are.
No, this is actually in order, I think. No, where's the zoot suits? No, the zoot suits are there. I went zoot suits.
For all
It's
of
right
you,
on the Sunset
for all of you
Strip,
listening,
Rodney
we're
King.
frantically scrolling Sam's notes looking for something he knows of.
This is actually right.
That was good radio.
Because I didn't put these in order. I put them in order of when I thought of them. So
Makes sense to me.
yeah. So
Sort of.
3 good examples of essentially the world exploding is 4, sorry. Or Los Angeles exploding is 1944 in June and 1943.
Okay.
There's the Zoot Suit riots, which are essentially American Navy men patrolling the streets of downtown LA looking for kids in zoot suits to beat up, Mexican kids.
Okay.
The reasoning behind this was that the zoot suits were too big and they used too much fabric and they were anti-war effort. They were.
I think it's because they were Mexicans.
Maybe. And the LAPD liked to follow the Navy dudes around
Okay.
and arrest the Mexicans they beat up.
Okay. That makes sense.
In August 1965,
Pretty Los Angeles.
a black guy, 21, was pulled over for drunk driving. He resisted arrest, and then he is aided by his mom in the fight against the cops. They are then both beat up and arrested. Many people are watching this happen. This kicks off what's known as the Watts riots, where the National Guard is called in. It results in 34 people dead and over $40 million in damages. Basically,
That's all they worry about is the fucking dollars in damages. Fuck your property crime, motherfucker.
a year later, there was too many kids on the Sunset Strip, and they instituted a curfew.
Right.
A lot of these clubs would let in underage kids because they were like dance clubs.
Yeah.
So anyone under 18 had to be off the streets at 10 o'clock. They didn't like that. So there was riots and all this shit going on the Strip in November of '66.
This is also as political as Stephen Stills wanted to get.
Yeah, the song, like There's Something Happening Here is about this, not
Right.
about Vietnam.
Right.
There's also like a song Right on the Sunset Strip and a movie Right on the Sunset Strip. Wild in the Streets is a movie that's similar to this. They're interesting to watch as like historical artifacts. Now, April 1992, excessive force is used on, or LAPD is acquitted for excessive force use on Rodney King in a March 91 arrest, and the city just completely erupts for 5 days.
Yeah, I watched that happen.
Yeah, I didn't. The National Guard comes back in. Now, in this one versus the other ones, there's people can videotape stuff themselves. So there's citizen tapes being sent in and making everything worse.
And making everything worse.
Yeah.
It's like, here's proof that the cops are beating people to death.
In 1987, there was a LAPD operation called Operation Hammer, where they actively militarized themselves, and this is the first time
yeah.
they got to use that.
There's like all kinds of history of LAPD.
Yeah, the LAPD's
gangs.
nuts.
There's all kinds of cop gangs.
Chief Parker's a nightmare.
Yeah, it's all organized crime. I hate the cops.
Now,
Hot take.
you've probably seen this. The picture of the Korean guy on the roof of his shop holding a machine gun. That's from this because
Yeah.
the riots were headed towards Koreatown, and the Koreans were like, "Get the fuck out of here,"
Yeah.
including a Korean shooting a 15-year-old black shoplifter and getting 5 years in probation. Um,
I don't like riots.
yeah, riots are bad, and a lot of people like I have a picture here of a white lady looting a department store, and a note below it says, "Hey, you're not black, but I'm sure you still care deeply."
She looks very much like she's just wanted that jacket for a long time.
And now was the time to get it.
Opportunism.
Yeah.
Nothing says America like opportunism.
Yeah. William H. Parker was the chief of police between 1950 and 1966.
What a scumbag.
He's a notorious racist and loved a good cover-up.
Yeah.
Now, when he gets out of office, there becomes a power vacuum, and between 1966 and 1969, the LAPD has 4 different chiefs of police. And on August 29th, 1969, Edward Davis takes over, and he's there through like the mid 70s. So there's a little bit of consistency in the LAPD, but during all the real crazy shit, they don't have a head, which is important.
Sensible.
There's no one like in charge of that.
It seems like that tracks.
Yeah.
From like a design point of view.
Yeah. So, Hollywood, Hollyweird, Hollywood, whatever you want to call it. You know, Hollywood Productions.
Hollywood Productions.
You know what I'm referencing?
No.
The Black Manson bus that they misspelled Hollywood on.
Oh, yeah.
They were trying to find a good excuse for a 33-year-old man going around with a bunch of teenage girls, and they were like, we're a production crew. But they spelled it Hollywood.
It worked.
They had a habit of misspelling shit.
I think it's just because they were stupid.
They were stupid and high. But
Too stupid to know and too high to care.
yes. Now, I hope there's a lot of places you can go to look more into these things. We can't cover all of it.
Sure.
Um,
Well, it's a pretty big history.
It's
Pretty
large.
big place.
if
Covers a
you're
lot of things.
interested in the history of the city of LA, I would recommend going to the book City of Nets. That's a really good place to start.
Okay.
The Fixer, the Fred Otash book, is a really
The Fixer. That's the one I want to read.
that's a good
That's
that's a good place to go as well. You can find other things from there, but like those two will give you a good background on general Hollywood. Also, read any James Ellroy.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter
You've been pushing the James Ellroy.
because he's great. Just
yeah.
pick one of them.
Yeah,
He has a lot
okay.
of true crime, a lot of fake crime. He has a 6-part podcast on Audible called Hollywood Death Trip that is very interesting, incredibly well produced, much better than this. So go listen to that. He has like jazz playing in the background and like sound effects and shit.
We got a song this episode.
He calls himself, I'm trying to remember what he calls
Oh,
himself.
he calls himself a lot of ridiculous things.
Like
the long, I don't know.
one of them
There
is
was a
like the
bunch.
demon dog with the death growl, and another one is like the something like the donkey, the something trick with the donkey dick.
Yeah, it's very 90s late night radio.
James Ellroy's awesome. He writes stuff in a great way, but it gives a really good. He's hyper focused and obsessed with this because his mom got murdered when he was 10, in a similar way to Elizabeth Short, who I forgot to fucking mention.
You'll be all right.
Now we're gonna talk a little bit about Elizabeth Short. That's like the most famous one. I gotta find my notes on her real quick. Can't spell Elizabeth.
That's not how you do it.
How do you spell Dahlia? I don't know how to spell any part of her name. 16 examples of black. Keep writing the word black in here. Black
You're
magic.
trying to spell Dahlia.
Yeah, I can't begin to spell
Is
Dahlia.
it D-A-H or D-H? It's D-A-H, isn't it? D-A-H. Oh, man. This is good radio.
This is awesome radio. There we go. I typed in Man Ray. One of the most famous examples of a murder in Hollywood is of Elizabeth Short, who is known as the Black Dahlia, which we could not spell. She was murdered and put on essentially display in a field and was found. She was cut in half, had like a Joker smile carved into her. There was like shit in her stomach. It was bad.
Right.
They don't know who did it. There's a lot of
It's very
conjecture
ritualistic.
on it. Yeah, it is very ritualistic. And a lot of these murders are very ritualistic.
Very.
But there's a lot of conjecture on it. It was probably this guy named George Hodel. who was a doctor
Probably
and a
George
back
Hodel.
alley abortionist. He will come up again. He's a fuck.
He's an evil man.
He's a bad person.
He's a really bad dude.
There was also, much to Eli's chagrin, a possible connection between this murder and the artist Man Ray,
yeah.
who was friends with George Hodel.
Which we already know Man Ray was a scumbag.
Yeah.
I just am a big fan
Look
of
up,
surrealist art.
Look up his thing, The Minotaur, and then look up the way Elizabeth Short was posed.
Yeah, there's similarities, that's for sure.
Yeah. And Hodel and Man Ray
It seems
ran
like someone
around
was
together.
being artistic with something really disgusting and
Yes.
heinous.
Um,
Which I can see Man Ray doing, and George Hodel totally tracks for him.
yeah. So a lot of death. All I've been doing is reading about death recently.
Me too.
And I don't think I'm gonna stop.
It wears on you.
Nah,
Yeah.
not really. Where are we going from here, man?
We're just gonna stick around the neighborhood, I think.
Yeah, we're gonna stay in death.
We're gonna stay in death.
We're gonna get more specific with the shit leading up to the Laurel Canyon scene with Sean Levy.
Yeah, and look at some of those weird currents running through Los Angeles that interacted.
Yeah, and then we'll get into Laurel Canyon and the way that was all fixed.
Yeah.
And we'll get into Manson again. If you missed our Manson stuff, we're gonna go back through some of it. New shit has come out.
It just overlaps with everything.
It does.
Like the Manson story and the cults and the spook stuff and
and wait until we get into Scientology.
And yeah, and all of it,
Scientology is a
happening today.
big overarching thing in Los Angeles at this time.
Still today.
Remember how L. Ron Hubbard was hanging out with Jack Parsons because of naval intelligence?
Sure do.
Yep.
Yeah, it doesn't. That angle doesn't go away.
Yeah. Yep. L. Ron Hubbard is a interesting fella, and Scientology's fingerprints are all over the Manson case.
And a lot of shit we see today.
We'll get there too. This was coherent. We only had to stop twice. Oh boy.
All right, well, now I gotta go to work.
Have fun.
Looking great.
About Hollywood. Sunset Generation, they got all that stuff. Hear that meditation on that FM station? Man, yeah, talk about some teeny boppers, finger boppers. You better look at them traffic stoppers. Yeah, they gon' this fella. Oh, boy, I got to hitch a ride with this little up-and-coming superstar. I'm gonna get on board wherever she are. Get that limousine all lined and green and get down with class to sing Pauline. Yes, she will. Look at it, massage parlors, silver studs and barberators, and tell them on the street, Hey, wait a minute. Never Louise seemed to holler Lou Reed, but not only the women's lead when it's down to 7 C's, but where you at, little man? Yeah, you can George